A good Tavach. Uh, there is a Hashava Indian that I want to speak out, thanks to some constructive feedback. We'll call it criticism, constructive criticism from a friend. And it's even again this week's parasha. That's why I want to record this message and give it over to give some background information on how this shear goes and what I try to give over the etzem. So I mentioned in passing in the last year that a friend commented that I don't usually use makayers. I just say over what I either heard from my rebbeim or the hair that I had, and lavdafka do I base myself on any sefer specifically. Usually, it comes from a life experience, and people don't appreciate that so much. And again, I do it naturally only because that was how I was. This is how my rebbeim taught me Torah. So I'm just it's the same mahalach. That's what I learned from them. But it's a real chashuv and nekuda that it's worth bringing out, and I'll try to make it quick. Ravolba in Ali Shur brings, how he explains the point of this book, what he's trying to accomplish. He says it something interesting over here. He basically breaks up the Torah into two parts. We know the Torah is broken up into two parts, but he clarifies the Indian a little bit for us. The Torah is based on Nigla and Nister. There's two parts of Torah, Nigla and Nister. And the words that he uses are Shmaitza and Agarata, which is a chiddush on its own, by the way, because normally when we say Nigla, we're referring to, Shas and stuff like that. And Nister would be more, Kabbalah and the Zoyar and stuff like that. But this type of Shmaitza and Agarata is very different because now you have Nister in your regular Baba Kama, in your regular Baba Matzir. Anytime there's an Agarata Gemara, this is part of the Chelik of Torah called Nister, which is a Chiddush. But that's what he says. And he brings from the Rebbe of Yerucham that he used to say it's much harder to learn Nister than it is to learn Nigla. Why? Because it says like this. It's a pashut. B'shmaitza rotu chazal legalois is a talmud b'mishnah. Shmaitza, the Gemara is just trying to reveal to you what is actually being said, what's being revealed in the Mishnah and the Halacha. And Ba'agarata, Chazal rotu lahastir es hadvarim shelo yishlutu b'hem yadayim zoros. So regular Gemara, we work so hard to understand. So Agarata, Alachas Kama V'Kama would be hard to understand. That is the Kal V'Chomer from Rabbi Yerucham. But okay. But he brings it going like this, a going in Mishlei. Pasuk Vav. Says the Goin, Be'agarata Yeshnam Mussar V'Soidos. When we're handling a Agarata Gemara, a Maimer Chazal, that's an Agarata, says the Goin, Yeshnam, there is there, Mussar V'Soidos. Explains Revolva, Heveyoimer, La'agarata Nitan Lageshes B'Shtei Drochim. How do you approach a sugya in Agarata? Only two ways. Oy mitzad Mussar, oy mitzad pnimius haTorah shehi chochmas hakabbalah. That's it. There's only two ways to learn it. And he stresses this, and he goes on, he's Meirich over here. He brings even the Maral. The Maral explains the differences between Agarata and Shmaitza. For example, you don't just ask questions and say pilpulim and zachem like that, like we're used to doing in regular Shmaitza sugyas. You don't do that with Agarata. Agarata is learned differently. It's learned oy al derech Mussar, oy al derech primius haTorah. Now, I can't, explain to you what all this means. I suggest, reading through the Sefer a little bit, gaining an appreciation, a real appreciation for what Mussar is, what it was, And what the Chachmei Mussar were trying to give over from Rabbi Yisrael Salanter all the way down Revolva to now. But that's not our shmooze right now. But there's a derech hamusar. That's what it is. And I want to just show you that an example of this in this week's parsha. In this week's parsha, where you see that you have to use musar in certain areas, dafka where there's no meforshim. Agarata, the nister of an agarata can only be learned with musar, and the chiddush is that it's derech musar, derech avoida, avoidas musar, personal avoida, and dafka not with meforshim. And you have a moiridika example of this in this week's parsha. Look, everybody knows the Gemara. The Gemara in Psachim Maro Chanan Mishol Azar Shemasur Atzma Kedusha Hashem L'Kiv Shanaish. We know that Chanan and Mishol Azar, they threw themselves into the kibshan, and what does the Gemara say? They nosu kal v'chomer ba'atzma matzfardim. They learned from the tzfardeya. Matzfardeya Shem Tzuvim Kedusha Hashem. Okay, so we know the kal v'chomer. Now understand, this is an Agadata Gemara. This is an Agadata Gemara, and there is only two ways to learn it. So be'etzem, it's in Agadata Gemara. It's chelik nister of Torah, but the Rishonim speak about it. So when the Rishonim speak about it, they're only trying to uncover what is allowed to be uncovered, the nigla part of the sugya. Look at the Rishonim's question. All the Rishonim asks, Tosfos asks, what do you mean it's a kal v'chomer? Why do they need a kal v'chomer? We all know that avodah zarah gilur raish v'chazdam is yahareg v'al yavar. Why do they need a kal v'chomer? That is the kasha of Tosfos. That's the kasha of the Ran. They ask this question because Rabbi Say, this question is on the surface level. You can't understand the Gemara. The Gemara makes no sense. Why do you need a kal v'chomer if it's yareg v'al yavar? And they answer that it wasn't really an avodah zarah. It was like a tmunas atzma or something like that, and he treated it like an avodah zarah. So it wasn't mamish an avodah zarah. So they had to come on to a kal v'chomer. So now that's good pshat in the Gemara. That's ad kan divrei harishonim, ad kan divrei hameforshim. But now look at the lashon here in Rabbi Yerucham. It's unbelievable. The lashon here in Rabbi Yerucham is amazing. It says like this: Avol, sof kol soif, anachnu temeim al advorim. After the Rishonim, we have a question. We have a question that's not found in the Rishonim. Not the question, and the answer also will not be found in the Rishonim. What's that question? What on earth? Ma shayich la'aviraya mitzfar de'im asher heim kegoyim lim pshutim be'ein kol ruach v'chefetz. What can you learn from a frog? What on earth is Chazal talking about? This question you won't find any Rishon ask. Nobody will ask this question, because here lies the secret behind the Agadata. Here is the Dvarim Nistarim in the Agadata. And Dvarim Nistarim, like the Goyin says, is only learned with Mussar or Soid or Kabbalah. Sometimes the issue, I don't know if every issue that we ever spoke about in the Shir is like that, but a lot of the times it's questions that we ask. We don't understand certain things. They just don't make sense. And they make sense through your kiyum mitzvahs, through your relationship, how you steig. Okay? So this is the backbone of what Mussar be'etzem is. And this is how it's expressed. This is how you learn it. This is how I was taught to learn it. So I think that this is an important message, and I wanted to share it with you. And I thought it was Gavaldic because we even found a tzir from this week's parasha.